To arrange the biblical text chronologically is quite a challenge because we don't always know when a certain book of the Bible was written. Some books we're very confident. Some of Paul's letters we know within a month or two of when he wrote them. But other books are open to a wide range of interpretations as to when they were written. The prophet Obadiah is notoriously difficult to date precisely. We know he had to write after a certain date and before another date, but that span can be, according to which scholar you look at, 150, 200 years. There are at least 12 people in the Old Testament named Obadiah. We don't even know which Obadiah it was. Or maybe the Obadiah that was the prophet is the 13th Obadiah. We simply don't know. So the challenge is, where do we put that book, since it's kind of fuzzy? The same thing goes on with the book of Psalms. For some of the Psalms, we have a superscription that said, David wrote this when he fled from his son Absalom. We can date that with fairly high confidence. But many of the Psalms do not tell us when they were written. We have some indications, since the Psalter's divided into 5 books, of when each book was compiled. So that gives us kind of an end date for each of the 5 books of the Psalms, but it doesn't tell us anything before that. So that's one of the things when I was editing the Chronological Bible, I had to make decisions on where do we slot these Psalms in, where it makes fairly good chronological sense without being dogmatic about, I know exactly when this particular Psalm was written. We're more confident of New Testament books at times than Old Testament books. Some Old Testament books we're fairly confident of. We know Moses wrote the first 5 books, had to be during the 40 years in the wilderness. So that gives us, a kind of a span. He couldn't have written Deuteronomy much before he died because it's his last words. So, we can be really confident about dating some books like that. Other books, like the book of Samuel, 1st and 2nd Samuel, we know that it had to be written after David's reign, but we're not exactly sure how far after David's reign. The thing that helps us with the book of Samuel is we don't really need to know when it was written. We need to know when the events in the book of Samuel took place. We can be more confident about that. So that's the big challenge, is figuring out where to slot things, especially when some things simply are unknown and in some cases unknowable.